Totes Recall.
Welcome to Totes Recall, the podcast where we talk about a movie we can't remember very well. Pause that recording, watch the movie while eating 2 pizzas and 2 salads. Thank you, patrons. Then come back for a second half, more informed, we guarantee it, and talk about the movie again.
Uh-oh.
My name is Dan.
This is Molly.
I'm also Dan.
And I'm Beth.
And our movie, this very special New Year's episode, is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Wow.
Is that the original one?
It is
The
the
one with,
original movie.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
gee.
The book is the original one, though, Mom.
Yeah,
Wow.
Molly. Respect
And
literature.
Read a
that one
book.
is called Charlie and the Chocolate
Yes,
Factory.
which is
Charlie and the chocolate.
And the
Charlie,
Chocolate Factory.
Charlie and the
Chocolate Factory.
Hey, Charlie and the chocolate.
Charlie came to Chocolate Factory.
Anyway, it's not that. It's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory because I don't know.
Well, he was the biggest name they cast, right?
That's true. I guess that's true.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
see.
Willy
Yeah.
Wonka? Oh, because then they're like, this is the movie called Willy Wonka. Now look who's playing Willy Wonka, the titular
Yeah.
Willy.
Who
Yeah.
is very famous actor
Yep.
named.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
He has curly hair.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He's got a W. in
Gene
his name.
Wilder.
Yay.
Gene Wilder. Yes.
Hey, come with me and you'll be in a world of
I do.
imagination. What? Yes, Dan?
That song reminds me that I sing that to my child when I want him to come with me. I wonder how annoying that is, / if he will notice when he sees the movie.
I
If
see.
he'll be like, wait a minute. I've heard this before.
I thought that was a dad original.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Which
isn't
happened
that
to
always
me
the worst?
when I watched the Blues Brothers, because my stepdad would always quote it, but I didn't know he was doing that.
Then all of a sudden you're like,
I was like, wait, I've heard this before.
Yeah, I was fortunately usually the things my dad would say constantly were quotes from movies that I watched with him. So I never thought like this was an original thought. And usually it was like not even necessarily a joke in like the traditional structure. It was just a part of a movie that made him laugh, and he would just say it out loud and then chuckle
Yeah, that's a good dad move.
for his own benefit entirely.
The other one I do, which is an annoying dad move, is from Hamilton. When you can't find something, I just go, look around, or however it goes. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yep. Anyway, that's Willy Wonka, the Chocolate Factory. I already know what year it came out because I looked at the
Cheated?
runtime and cheated. So I will
Wow.
abstain from that bet.
This is a tough one. Was
It
it
is.
the 70s?
that's my best guess. Is it's a 7. I'm going to say 1977.
7.
I'm going to say 74.
Love it.
Oh, I'll say 79.
I thought you already said 7.
I'll say 70s, 80s, 90s, and today.
Oh, God. This is ridiculous.
That's my kind of bet.
You guys are like the bad families in this movie where you're just trying to cheat to get your way to the top.
Now, that is questionable. Do all the kids cheat, or are some of them just spoiled?
Well, I mean, in terms of like they're all awful.
Oh, sure.
Some of them definitely like get a ticket through
Buying it.
exploitational means.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, there's like
One
Rich
kid's
girl.
dad owns a factory and like converts it to a chocolate bar unwrapping labor pool or something.
Okay.
Yeah, can we remember the children?
Ooh, great
I think
question.
that's-
Violet.
For
Augustus Gloop,
Ooh.
Violet Beauregard.
Yep.
Wow.
Mike TV.
Oh yeah.
Who else do we get? I'm trying to think of how they die.
Yeah, I know. Right?
Charlie.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, Charlie. There's 5, right?
There's,
So we're missing one.
Veruca Salt, I think,
Yep.
is the rich girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Charlie.
Oh, yeah, she's the bad egg.
Bucket.
Yeah, that's it, right? And Charlie Bucket.
I think that's it. We'll find out. If there's another kid, we'll be delightfully surprised.
Yeah. Violet
Yeah, this
Beauregard?
movie.
What's her last name? Violet?
Violet
Beauregard.
Beauregard, yeah.
Who has no regard for people's feelings.
Oh, high five.
Good job, Roald Dahl. Right?
The more we what?
I can't remember now.
Roald Dahl jam?
Oh, we had a
Yes.
whole conversation about this, didn't we?
Yes, it is.
Roll Dahl.
Roald.
Roald Dahl.
Roald Dahl.
Oh, Roald Dahl. A Roald Dahl.
Listeners who are newer to the podcast and also me might be confused. What is happening?
We're trying to figure out how to pronounce the author's name again.
Yeah, we're still
Oh,
talking about
got it.
books, Molly.
What?
Indeed,
You've heard
I
of
guess.
them.
We should also, little peek behind the curtain, we are tele-podcasting today, so Dan and I at least are going to constantly talk over each other.
It's bound to happen.
Yeah. The more we reflect, like as we were remembering the children, and Beth mentioned the way that they get disqualified
Yeah.
or more.
Yeah.
I'm realizing that this is like the Gremlins 2 of child harm, right? Where it's just like everything is like a new novel way for one of the kids to get knocked off.
You know, I feel like I've seen this movie so many times, but there are only a few scenes that stand out to me.
Hit me.
Well, the one where the little girl turns into a blueberry
Yep.
and like is rolled out.
Yep. Rolled out.
That really struck me and has stayed with me in a very permanent way, and is probably the only thing I took from the first viewing.
Yeah.
And then, you know, maybe and the grandparents sharing the bed.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's burned into
Let's
That's
talk
how
my
it
about that.
starts, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The,
So I don't know how it's going to be watching it now. You know what I mean? Like, I have no idea, but I feel like I've seen it either in whole. I think I saw the whole thing when I was a pretty young kid, and some of it was pretty traumatizing and scary. And then I've seen little bits and pieces from there on. I don't think I've ever watched it all the way through again. Unless we've done it for this podcast and I've totally forgotten.
Whoa.
we all
reveal.
forgot.
We haven't. Yeah. What else happens? There's Slugsmore?
Yeah.
What?
Smash Mouth.
What are you talking
What?
about?
There's this is kind of a twist, but there's like a bad businessman who tries to get all the kids, but maybe also we only see it with Charlie, to like steal the candy, steal
The
the
everlasting
super candy.
gobstopper.
That's the one.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
And
His name is Slutworth?
Slugworth.
I think it's with a
thought.
G.
Slug.
Slugworth, like he's worth a slug.
Yeah, check the tapes. I'm pretty sure you said slut.
Gosh. Hey, Beth, how do you remember so much about this movie?
Oh, I think
Yeah.
I've seen it like 100 times. I don't
Oh.
know. I've seen it many, many times. But also maybe I've read the book. I don't remember if I've read the book or not.
I have read the book. I think I've only seen the movie one time.
Oh, wow.
Really? Wow.
Wow.
How old were you when you saw it?
I don't know. After I read the book, I read a bunch of his books when I was a kid. I don't think I saw the movie till I was at least a late teen.
Oh, interesting. So you probably were not scared by it.
I kind of knew it was coming. Yeah. I mean,
The only thing that is scary, I think, is the scene where they're on the boat and they're like going through that crazy tunnel with all the lights, and he's like doing some sort of creepy monologue over it. That's the
yeah.
and it's right after Augustus Gloop gets like drowns in chocolate, essentially.
Oh, man.
They get stuck in a tube, is that right?
I believe so. That's something we should talk about, Beth, is that I do recall, I feel like, and maybe I'm misremembering this just because of all the memes over the years, but like I feel like Willy Wonka is sort of like, he's presented as, there's like this undercurrent of him being like far more dangerous than you maybe expect him to be.
Well, he's very mysterious because
Yeah.
they get the golden ticket. No one's ever been in the factory before, so it's a big
Right.
deal. And so when he walks out of the factory, there's that scene where he's like kind of limping as he walks out, and then he does somersault.
Yeah, it's
and
great.
It's like,
Big reveal.
Yeah. And so I think people are just don't know like what to make of him. And so like he is definitely menacing in some ways.
I just remembered there's a scene where Charlie and his granddad drink soda. Mm-hmm. And so they start floating, and then the only way to get down is to burp.
Mm-hmm. LOL.
And I think that's the most trouble they get in.
I remember being very
maybe
stressed in that. Yeah, because there's a big fan at the top. Stressed.
Oh, yeah.
There's a big
they
fan
could
at the top.
die.
If they float too much, they're going to get chopped to death.
Oh.
That's very James Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a very... I mean, there's definitely like a... was this all just an allegory for like children should not be touring industrial sites?
I kind of feel like each kid is a lesson in itself, right?
Oh, for sure.
Like,
yeah.
I mean,
there's
the Oompa Loompas come out after they all...
That's true.
They like
parents are
sing
taken
little
away. They're,
allegory
explicitly
songs.
Like,
yeah.
that's why this is a bad kid.
Yeah. But also don't tour factories with strange men.
Right.
Yeah, you're with your grandpa, you're fine.
Yeah, as long as you're with your grandpa.
I've been on a chocolate factory tour. No big deal.
What?
Braggy.
Go on.
I've been on 2. Now that I think
What?
about it. Both the Hershey and Cadbury factories.
Ooh.
No big deal.
Is the Cadbury factory just a bunch of bunnies?
Yeah, it's a bunch of bunnies
Laying
strapped to a
chocolate
conveyor
eggs.
belt.
Oh.
Oh, Dan.
Sorry, Megacorps are terrible.
It's true. It's true.
The chocolate's so good.
Yeah, shut up, Dan.
Technically to the Ghirardelli
There
factory,
you go.
but I think that's more of a store.
In San
Yeah.
Francisco.
That's in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've been to the one in Chicago.
Hey.
You can smell
Hey,
it
I got some
on the architectural
chocolate.
tour.
Oh, you want
Oh.
chocolate here in the Windy City?
Just it.
Hot local tip.
Oh.
If you go to the M&M store at the Mall of America, you can customize M&Ms with anything you want, including like pictures of yourself or
What?
like oofda, or I got some like running horses, and you can pick which colors too.
Wow.
And they will print it for you right there at the store.
Each M&M, each individual M has a
Yes.
picture on it?
Well, instead of the M,
Yeah.
you can get a picture.
Like
Yeah.
a tiny picture.
Like a little tiny picture.
Wow.
It's like basically there's a little dot matrix printer back there with edible ink. I'm not going to say it's the most delicious M&M I've ever had,
Sure.
but it was really fun. I made a little goofy present for my sister. Where
That's
I
fun.
customized stuff that she would find funny and interesting.
That's kind of fun.
That's a good
It's
local
okay.
tip.
It's fun. Yeah. And it's only like really expensive. But it's an experience.
Right.
Oh.
Yes.
You'll remember it for a lifetime.
Speaking of experiences, this movie is a musical. Am I remembering that correct?
Yeah.
Isn't there
Oh,
more
I've
than
never-
one song?
Yeah.
Oh, there's
Definitely.
lots. The Oompa Loompas have a song.
They
Right.
got a bunch of songs.
Isn't there like a bubble song too? Isn't there like a we're floating around bubble song?
Bubble, bubble, that fan's gonna kill us. Burp, burp, burp. I think that's how it goes. I don't remember. I just remember the Oompa Loompas. Oompa Loompa. I guess that's the same song.
Oompa,
Doompa dee doo.
doo.
I've got
Something,
another.
something.
Bub, 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 bub. What do you
But-
get being
Okay. Okay.
Veruca sings a song where I want it now. Don't care how I want it now. And
and then she
falls
starts a
into
band in the
Yes.
90s.
Yep. And
Yes.
she falls into a hole.
Oh wow!
She's a bad egg.
Wow. Wow.
The
Oh,
golden
'cause-
goose. The goose lays golden eggs or something like that.
Oh,
That's a
she
thing.
wants one?
And she wants it.
She wants the goose.
She wants the go. I think so. And then she stands up there and then says, and it goes honk, and then she falls into a hole.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
I just, over the November holiday, the November American holiday, which I will not name, watched Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, the Johnny Depp version of this movie, and that is squirrels getting nuts. But she also falls in a hole.
Huh.
Yeah. That one is weird.
I mean, they're all weird.
I mean, this one is weird, but that one in some ways, like
That's
weirder.
It's like a
I
Tim
think it's because of his
Much
teeth.
weirder.
His
Jam.
teeth are too intense for me.
It's also just a weirder movie
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure.
Because there's like this weird subplot where he like has like a distant relationship with his father that Charlie
Oh, yeah.
helps him like
Yeah.
deal with.
Who's a
Christopher-
dentist.
Yeah, Christopher
Yeah.
Lee is like a
Yeah.
That's some.
devil dentist. Anyway,
It's very strange,
That's
and it was a totally unnecessary movie to make, but whatever.
not like Wonka
Exist.
coming out this year. Go see
That's
it.
right.
You're welcome, Timothy
Synergy.
Chalamet.
Chalamet.
Do we think that this one will pass the Bechdel Wallace? Do we think any of these children talk to each other?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, grandmas might talk to each other in the bed.
Yeah, I
Grandma's
think
in
it
bed.
probably does. Because also, like, they're there with their, like, parent or, guardian. And so I think, no, which one's the Violet? I think her mom is with her, and she's like, Violet, you're turning violet. Or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's probably like, get away from me, Mom.
Yeah. Yeah, I think odds are good.
Yeah.
Odds are good.
So, and I'm sorry to keep returning to this, Beth. So you've seen this many times.
Yes.
Is this on purpose because you love this movie, or is it just circumstance?
I think it's more circumstance. Like,
Okay.
I think I watched it probably at friends' houses or like it was on TV and I watched little bits and pieces.
Got it.
But I do like
Yeah.
it. I remember liking it.
I've seen it a bunch as well. I watched this was like a standard in my house growing up.
Yeah.
We'd watch Willy Wonka again. Willy Wonka.
Oh,
Willy Wonka.
this is
that
a
song?
perfect time for my totes regrets.
Okay.
It's from the
Okay.
new
Oh, okay.
Yes. Dan Jaquette, I have a totes regret. A while ago, you had revealed that your movie night at your dad's house was popcorn and sliced apples.
Oh yeah. Long time.
Oh, yeah.
And I made a big to-do about the sliced apples. It made no sense to me and so on. As a parent, I have to say I now see its brilliance. And at my house, we have sliced apples and popcorn on movie night.
Wow.
Wow.
So it's more of a mea culpa than a totes regret, but it's kind of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apology.
Try
accepted.
it. If you haven't tried it at home, give it a shot.
Yeah.
Listeners, Totes Challenge.
Feed your children popcorn and apples and watch a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably our most feasible challenge yet, honestly.
Yeah.
The one least likely to get you arrested.
I mean, if you have children, the
Right,
most
right.
feasible challenge.
Yeah.
If you don't
or
have
do
children,
it on your own.
yeah, if you don't have children, alternate challenge, just eat it yourself. Don't find a child to feed.
No.
Yeah, don't take
Popcorn
You
and
don't need
apples
to
and
send
watch a
out
movie.
golden tickets to
Yes.
kids in
Yes.
apples in order for them to win a ticket to your house to watch a
Right?
movie.
Yes.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, don't
Extra irrelevant challenge, add some caramel because caramel goes really well with apples and with popcorn.
Oh,
It might be
Whoa.
the thing that like elevates the whole
Where do
thing
you
into
add
a
it?
new...
You just like have a
do that. The great unifier.
dipping carafe?
Like, and this is just for adults, okay? It'd be way too confusing and messy for kids.
Only.
That's right. This is Totes
After
Challenge
dark.
After Dark. Okay.
Oh, I got there before you did, Dan, but your delivery was better.
Thank you.
Beth, edit this to make it make sense.
Pew 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 pew. After dark.
Ooh,
Oh,
that's
I said it. I said
good.
it first, I guess. And then,
Yeah, wow.
so-
Yeah, good one.
Check the
Beth.
tapes. Beth. Wow, what a great joke. Beth. Ooh, Dan's bet.
Okay.
There's going to be at least one line about the Oompa Loompas that will be uncomfortable because their whole concept is problematic.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like from a dying area.
Like it's basically like he basically like employed ? Like a group of people from a Pacific island somewhere.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
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 We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how that plays out.
They're good though. I mean, other than that, I like the Oompa Loompas a lot.
Oh, sure. I mean, the characters themselves, good on them. But I feel like the concept, I just remember even in the book, it's sort of like, oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's Roald
Roald
Dahl, who is, historically like a very classic British dude when it comes to his opinions of non-British people.
Yeah, but also
Yeah.
he's Danish.
What's that?
Isn't he
His-
Danish? Or his parents are Danish?
His
We did
parents are
this when we
Danish?
watched The Witches, and now I've forgotten.
Yeah. I also did forget.
Well, whatever. I mean, I'm sure the Danes hate people too. So.
Wow. Thanks for your listenership, Denmark.
Essentially, they go through the factory.
Yes.
There's the kids mess it up in various ways and then are possibly killed.
It's the Dante's Inferno of candy, where they come across their own sins.
Yep. And then at the end, Charlie thinks that he messed up because of the bubbles, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was he wasn't supposed to drink the bubbles. But then it ends up that he's not really mad, and he gives Charlie the factory, right?
Right, because he also gives back his gobstopper, which
that's right.
he maybe was going to take to give to Slugsworth. Damn.
Oh, to get that money.
Yeah, for corporate espionage. But then...
And then it turns out Slugsworth is a friend.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, wow. Big reveal.
Sorry, spoiler.
A friend of Willy Wonka's?
Yeah, he's part of it.
Yeah. So they set all the kids
boy.
up to fail.
I see.
But then Charlie didn't fail,
just
so he gets a factory.
Is Willy Wonka like? Does he have a terminal illness? Is it ever is it ever explained like why he's decided to do this?
I always thought he did. As a kid, I remember being like, he's gonna die, but I don't know if it is.
Like, is he just bored?
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
He's like not old. He's
No.
I mean, he seemed old when I was a kid.
Sure.
I actually don't. Have you ever read the second book?
Yes.
Glass elevator.
Do you remember what that's about?
There's a glass elevator.
Okay, cool.
And it goes to places. There's weird aliens.
That's featured in this movie.
The aliens?
No, the glass elevator.
Oh, sure.
Right? At the end, he's like, come with me on this elevator. And they go in the elevator and they float through the sky.
On this elevator.
Come with me and you'll see
on this
glass elevator.
Weird aliens that spell out threats with their bodies. Read the book.
What?
Yeah,
It's the second book. They come across some weird aliens that like threaten them by shaping their bodies into letters.
Wow.
I read a lot of books, but I guess mostly Judy Blume.
I read a lot of Roald Dahl.
Oh, no.
Yep.
I read a lot of Roald Dahl.
Oh, Robert Rodford here. I also read a lot of Roald Dahl.
This is Robbie Rodford here to recommend some Roald Dahl.
I recommend you read a Roald Dahl today.
All right. Well, I've got the rating scale when we're
let's
ready.
do it.
Oh, good.
In nod to this being a British film, it's a cup of Roald Dahl.
Oh, my God.
Wow. Cuppa Round.
Cup of Roald Dahl.
Roald Dahl.
Now, is that like the beginning of like a song like Papa Umama?
Oh, Cup of Roald Dahl.
And is that red or
Yeah.
white Roald Dahl? Clam
Roald Dahl?
Roald Dahl.
Is this
I'm
a
trying to make
wine?
a chowder.
I thought it was some
reference.
kind of tea.
Chowder?
A chowder?
Clam chowder, Roald Dahl.
A Roald Dahl chow? No.
Oh, it's like, well, I was going to say it's a cup of tea, but cup of chowder makes more sense.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Roald
So
Dahl
it's a
chowder.
Totally does.
It's a hot cup of Roald Dahl chowder.
That is the full title, and I think we should use that.
Hot cup of Roald Dahl.
Chowder.
And if you can modulate your accents to fit each portion of that, I would really
Of course.
appreciate it.
I mean, as we all know, chowder is the candy of hot
The sea?
soups. I don't know.
Candy
Yeah,
of the sea.
chowder is the candy of the sea.
Yeah, that checks out.
In the original version, it was a tour of a soup factory.
That's right.
Oh.
Yeah, if you
So-
look at the original proof of the novel, novella, whatever the fuck you call it,
Just different magical soups.
Willy Wonka's soup factory, and
That
then
makes
someone,
Augustus Gloop's death a little bit more intense.
yeah, it's rough. Yeah, and then some editor is like, "Oh, excuse me, Mr. Dahl. There's a lot of descriptions of savory soups in here, and I just don't think kids are really gonna
Like a
gravitate towards it."
Well, he's famously hates children, right? Isn't that something?
I don't
So
know.
he probably doesn't know that they like candy instead of soup.
Sure,
Yeah, that makes sense.
these little urchins should be eating more soup.
soup's on, and so is my machinery.
Yeah.
That's
what
how they
Willy
open the
Wonka
factory
says.
floor every day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Soupalumpa. Is that something?
That's definitely something.
Soupalumpa.
Soupalumpa
Yeah.
is definitely something. I'm
Great.
trying to think of
Well,
Willy-
rating scale is locked.
Okay.
Thank you.
The one who's first, we all know. It's Dan.
It's me. Me first. Me.
Yep.
I want it now.
Get that soup.
Right? Am I doing this,
I
Beth?
get
Am I
it.
doing this right?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Like I said, I think I've only seen this movie once. I think I saw it as a teen. I don't know. I remember enjoying it. I feel like Gene Wilder is a delight.
Yeah.
It probably holds up. I don't know. I'm going to say 4 hot cup of rowdow chowder. I had to think on my feet of what we actually decided.
Yep.
4.
Great. Thank you. Beth, you are second, as we all know.
Yes. As we all know, I go second. And yeah, I like this movie, I believe. There might be some parts of it that I am like, ooh, which might reduce the rating for me. But I'm going to start off with a 5.
Wow.
Whoa.
5 cup of radow chowder.
Wow.
What
Hot
temperature are
cup.
they?
Hot. Oh, hot.
It's hot.
It's a spicy chowder.
Oh, spicy round down. That's a spice. Mamma mia.
Oh, mamma mia, it's a Mia Willy Wonka. Oh, you coming to my chowder factory?
No. I'm third. My name is Dan. I go third, as we all know.
Great.
I'm going to swing my soup to the fences as well and go with 5 big old cup of rowdow chowdows.
Big cups.
Yeah.
You're getting big cups.
Big cups. These are big cups. Yeah. They're like
Okay.
12 ounce.
Wow.
Oh, that is a big cup.
That's a lot of chowder.
Yeah. It's not quite a bowl, right? A bowl's more than that. But like a,
I don't know.
like a mug. They're mugs.
Yeah, cuppa.
Yeah. Right. Beth gets it. Yeah, I watched this a bunch as a kid and was charmed by it, as I was by many Gene Wilder movies, especially Frisco Kid, which I'll bring up again. It's a movie that only I know exists.
Great.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to be charmed again and buoyed by youth and soup.
You might be disappointed about the soup part.
It's a soup factory.
I don't know. Actually, late bet. I bet one of the grandparents is eating soup in that bed.
That's a good bet.
Oh, that is a good bet. Oh, there might be a pot of soup on the
I
stove.
bet Mom's making
Yeah?
basic ass soup, like give me some more rocks, like basically stone soup.
Yeah, I mean,
so poor.
The whole inciting incident, or not inciting incident, but like the whole like introductory part of this movie is like the buckets are poor as shit.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I remember that.
That's why they only got one bed for the grandparents.
I know. I don't think I found that funny as a kid. I think I found it stressful.
Yeah.
I think maybe I should jump right in. I'm gonna predict a 2
Wow.
based
wow.
on how stressful I found this movie as a kid. Like, I found it stressful that Willy Wonka didn't have a lot of money and that all these kids got in trouble and bad things happened to them. And I thought Willy Wonka was kind of scary. And also, I'm remembering now, the first time I watched this, it was like on a film reel. You know what I'm talking about? It was probably like at school, or probably actually a YMCA, like after school activity.
Yeah.
And you know how the sound gets really messed up there? It's like a little bit too fast and too sharp.
Yeah.
So all of my memories about this are about being afraid or seeing a little bit of it on TV. I'm hoping that my scared heart will be charmed, but I'm concerned that without that childhood nostalgia in a positive way, it'll just feel kind of interminable, like march through a bunch of kid danger and death.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe it won't. Maybe it'll be more fun than all of that.
I think that
but
was the
anyway,
alternative title to the movie.
Yeah. So I'll give it 2 hot cup raw chow chowder.
Row chow
Spicy.
chowder?
Chowder. And with that, we're going to press pause, go watch Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and we'll be right back. Hello, listeners. This is Molly, the host with the worst memory on Totes Recall, reaching out to remind you that patreon.com/Totes Recall is a great place to visit, if only to take a look at the tiers we offer. You don't have to invest in a fruit eating contest if you don't want to. And maybe you're not Michael Jordan, but there are some tiers that are available to you and very accessible for as little as $1 a month. And with that $1 a month, you get access to Discord. You can submit your questions and comments that we do read online.
Yes.
And just basically be a part of a very fun, very supportive community that we really love to be a part of. So if you're interested at all, I encourage you to go to either totesrecall.com and find your way there, or go to patreon.com/totesrecall and check us out there.
Nearly perfect.
I know, we almost got there.
So close. And now back to the show. And we're back. We just watched 100 minutes of Gene Wilder and some kids.
Yep.
In a factory.
Yeah.
It's Chocolate Factory, even.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, let's be honest. They had a lot more than chocolate.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I gotta say that first, like the intro, the credits at the beginning, there's just like chocolate being like made in the background, and
Yeah.
I really was upset that there was no chocolate in our house.
Yeah, we have plenty of chocolate in our house, but we forgot to eat any during the movie.
Ugh.
But
How can you forget?
let me tell
Yeah.
you, I ate some chocolate.
I had some chocolate covered almonds, which are
What's that?
good. I had some chocolate covered almonds.
That counts.
It was good, but it wasn't what I wanted. Like chocolate,
Like a Wonka bar.
like a Wonka bar. Yeah, which I think is just a chocolate bar, right?
I think so. They exist in real life. You can get a Wonka bar, I think.
Yeah,
They sure do. And they were introduced by the Quaker Oat Company.
Oh.
But before I get into that, I wonder if there's a certain award-winning segment
that's
we're
very
supposed to be doing right now.
So specific. Well, much like the golden tickets of Willy Wonka, our podcast walls are also lined with gold.
Yes.
And this gold is
Bring it home.
award based gold that we receive monthly for the segment we're about to do.
Wow. I mean, some of them are just like weird shapes, like transparent, translucent shapes.
Yes.
You know, they're not all
Yeah.
gold.
They're
Yeah.
not all gold, but we have a lot of gold.
Some of them are definitely gold, and we
Some
are.
There are
gold.
so many crystal microphones that
Yes.
just line our walls and reflect the gold.
Right,
I gotta
exactly.
say,
It feels
yeah.
like we have more gold.
If you're thinking about becoming a patron, now's a good time, because like we need to start renting storage space for all of our awards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're not fitting in my house anymore.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they keep coming.
It's like every single day I get like someone rings my doorbell and I open it up and it's like boxes upon boxes of awards.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they all say to Beth for 60-second summary,
Oh.
which is the segment in which we summarize the movie we have just seen, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, in 60 seconds exactly.
Wow.
As is tradition
Uh-huh.
and award earning, I will volunteer to go
Okay.
first.
Okay. That's presumptuous of you.
That's fine with me.
I'm happy about it.
Wow.
I feel great about it.
All right. I feel good. I feel good too. All
right.
Who's
You
going to
ready?
time it? Not me.
Me. Obviously
Great.
me.
Great.
It's always also Dan, unless I get to my phone first.
No, and
Which I
even
did
then,
not.
it's batted away from you because it's a power you cannot handle.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Dan, are you ready?
Yeah.
You ready
We
to
open on.
Yeah.
Okay, I see a little twinkle in your
right.
eye.
Oh,
It seems
getting a
like
little-
maybe.
Have you been practicing?
No. No, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Let's do it.
Yeah, we might get some new awards depending on
Yeah.
how this goes.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Go.
We open on credits and Chocolate Factory happening, and it makes us all hungry for chocolate.
Yeah.
And then the movie starts proper. I have no idea what the first scene is, but we meet Charlie Bucket at some point. He's poor AF and has a paper route. Then we learn that, that's right. He, on his paper route, he looks at an abandoned factory and a crazy knife peddler says no one comes out of there alive. And then we find out it's a chocolate factory.
30 seconds.
And shit. There's 5 golden tickets to go into the factory, and a bunch of brats win them. And also Charlie Bucket, who's poor. He has cabbage water. And they all go on the tour. Grandpa Joe is there. And everyone does something bad and maybe dies, but I guess is fine.
10 seconds.
And in the end, Charlie gets yelled at, but then is a good boy and wins the factory, and they go to space. In a glass elevator.
Time. Wow.
I like
Really
how you
incredible.
spent the first 30 seconds on like
Just setting
the movie.
setting up working class industrial town with its vagrant blade salesman.
He really captured my imagination.
I don't remember that guy at
That
all.
dude was terrifying.
Just loose cleavers and such. Like, he's definitely one's gonna drop off and cut his foot off.
He's
a tinkerer.
I guess, but he only had knives.
And they were like hanging. They were like hanging by string,
Like
right?
poorly,
Yeah.
like really poorly mounted on that cart.
Yeah.
I did not remember most of the beginning of that movie. Like, I didn't remember that it being that long of a setup. Which makes me thinks that I have not seen the movie from beginning to end. I've only seen it on TV starting at them getting the ticket or whatever.
Maybe it's edited that way because
That could be.
there was 44 minutes went by before we see Willy Wonka.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
It is
could
a
be.
lot of setup.
It is.
And it's a lot of like little sketchy vignettes that happen. Some of them were absolutely hilarious and amazing.
No, I liked it.
just a lot of establishing Charlie's recurring disappointment in poor prospects in the world and his earnestness in trying.
Yeah.
He wants it more than anyone.
He's a good boy.
He is a good boy.
He
wants
works
to get-
hard,
Yeah.
and he gives his family the money to support his grandfather's tobacco habit.
Yeah.
Oh,
We got
that line truly crushed me.
Yeah, he like gets a pittance or whatever for throwing papers at people, and he wants to give it all to his grandpa so he could buy tobacco.
He gives some of it to his grandpa.
that's right.
He also
He
buys
buys-
food.
He buys a
He
big
buys
bag of
bread.
bread. Bag of bread. Yeah, he buys the bread.
Well, and it's like it's a moving moment upon moving moment, right?
Yeah.
So he gets his first paycheck and he brings home bread, which is most welcome because his family is eating cabbage water.
Cabbage water.
Yeah.
It sounds
Is
terrible.
cabbage water soup?
Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
we should get
are you
into
saying
it.
like just like as a philosophical question you're asking?
We talked a lot about soup in the first half,
Yeah.
and when they mentioned cabbage water, I was like, I guess that's like cabbage soup.
It's shitty soup, but I think you could argue it's a soup.
Why don't they call it soup? I guess to emphasize that it's just
just the water?
like boiled
Water.
cabbage.
No, because I think for soup you have to have some kind of seasoning or broth or something.
yeah.
It can't just be boiled because otherwise it's just boiled cabbage.
Isn't it arguably cabbage broth though?
Yeah.
I mean, I
It's
don't
just
know.
the broth
It feels
Yeah.
like it
and
needs...
the cabbage.
I don't
That
think
seems
the
like
cabbage
soup.
is in there. I think they boiled the cabbage. They've already eaten the cabbage, and now they're just reheating the cabbage
so
water.
leftover. That makes sense.
That's grim.
That's great. Do you
It's
know
a
what pea porridge is? Do you know about this pea porridge hot, pea porridge cold, pea porridge in the pot 9 days old?
I've heard
Yes.
the
What
rhyme.
are
that
you
is about?
talking about?
I've heard the
Heard of
rhyme.
It is a children's rhyme.
Okay.
And pea porridge was a thing people had in their house
Urine.
where they would just add. No.
Oh, I don't
Pea
know.
porridge was a food, but you would just add little bits to it and keep the same pot going for like days and days and days.
Oh, sure.
And it was just called pea porridge. And so the 9 days old is not an exaggeration.
There's like forever stews that like pot shops still use in some places.
I just feel so sad that no one else is freaked out by that.
I don't know. It's like a sourdough starter, I guess.
No, it sounds
Okay.
gross and sad, Molly.
Thank
I don't.
you.
I'm not saying it
I
sounds. doesn't
finally feel heard, Dan.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, well.
No, I mean, it's fine. And I'm sure there are variations on it. I just was surprised. had never thought about that rhyme before.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of rhymes we should probably think about more.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like,
They're like mostly about
most of them.
like racism and death.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any rhyme. Okay, teens.
Yeah.
Just a quick reality check. Most rhymes that have an American origin are probably about slavery.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
Sorry. But I want to talk about soup.
And most rhymes that are of European origin are about plagues and death.
Yeah. Or like probably like low key anti-Roma or anti-Semitism, I bet.
Yeah.
So
I want to get to the bottom of this
rhyming is
soup.
bad.
Yes, Dan?
Yeah.
I just want to do the podcast thing where we argue about food. It's a type of content everyone loves.
Great. Bring it back. Hit me.
Dan, you had bet that there would be soup talk, that
Yes.
that Bucket family would have soup. And I'm
Yes.
trying to decide if you're right or not. They have cabbage water. They don't call it soup.
That's true.
Do they not call it soup because it's not soup, or because they're trying to emphasize how sad of a soup it is? And is it really... Is it boiled cabbage with the cabbage still in it? Which I
Great
feel like
question.
is a stronger argument for soup than just
Agreed.
Yeah, they're
cabbage
just the water.
broth. If it's they boiled the water and they're just drinking hot water that used to have cabbage in it,
Cabbage adjacent.
that feels like not soup. I feel like soup's got to have more than one thing.
Okay. I hear you.
Well, I don't know. Like I had carrot soup the other day. I think it just. Well, it probably had onions in it.
You probably seasoned it with something, though, right?
Probably had
I mean,
onions.
I didn't do it.
Well,
What's
I don't know
tomato
what
soup
was
in
in
it?
it, but it was good.
yeah.
Just been water with some carrots in it. You probably wouldn't have called it carrot soup.
Yeah. Unless you were being lied to.
Yeah.
It's like, here, have this carrot soup.
I don't know. Like, I think I define soup as like liquid dinner.
Food.
But like, is there a difference between soup and stew?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Stew's thick.
A stew is thicker and it usually has bigger pieces in it.
So it's like just
But
big
is it like-
soup.
What?
It's just
What'd you
big
say?
soup.
Thick soup?
Big
thick
soup.
Big
Bigger
soup.
chunk, yeah.
That a stew is just big.
I think you could argue that all stews are soups, but not all soups are stews.
I accept that,
Okay.
actually.
Okay.
I'm starting to lean towards this not counting, though, because I am under the impression that, okay, if they are the level of poverty where 4 old people have to spend 2 decades foot to foot,
We got to talk about that.
and that's the only way they can survive. Oh, we're going to talk about it. Then I assume that means that they have already eaten the cabbage for, I don't know, breakfast, and now they're just having hot cabbage water.
Yeah, that doesn't feel
Yeah.
like soup.
That is
That's
not soup.
broth.
That's not soup.
That's a base of a
It
soup.
is broth. Yeah.
You could argue it is broth, yes.
Cut up a carrot and put some,
They don't
pepper in
have
there?
carrots, Dan.
then you got a soup.
Dan, yeah, what are you describing?
A soup. Okay, I feel like we're no soup then.
No soup?
They need some Rao Dao Chow Dao.
Excuse me?
After he gets
Oh.
$10,000 dollars, whatever.
Okay,
Or
let's talk
candy
about that.
certificates.
Yeah, because when okay,
Did look like gift certificates.
so there's a lot to
Free candy bars for a year.
Yeah.
there's a lot to unpack with Sludge. First of all, I mean, obviously at the end, spoiler alert, he's not really Sludge. He's just some
Sludge.
guy.
Why do you keep on saying sludge?
Isn't that his name?
Slugworth.
No.
Let's
Whatever.
Slugworth.
Slut guy.
Oh boy.
no.
Johnny the chocolate slut. Okay. Every time, no matter where they are in the world,
Yeah,
gets
amazing.
a golden ticket, there is this mysterious, bescarred fellow who whispers in their ear in a very sneaky way. And then finally, when Charlie gets his golden ticket, we learn that he is Slugster.
You can just say sludge. We know
What's his name?
His name is Slugworth.
Slugworth, and he says, "Ooh, you get me one of those secret everlasting gobstoppers, and I'll give you 10,000 of these."
Yes.
He just says these and pulls out a thick stack of paper.
It sort of looks like money, but not
Maybe
really.
they're
What denomination
traveler's
is it,
checks.
though? Because he's like, "Ooh, you can get a new house for your family and be set for life." It's like, okay, what is the value of one of those pieces of paper then?
Yeah.
Because that is insane.
Slug buck.
Oh, it's a slug buck.
Yep.
So he can
Maybe it's
only
like stock certificates, and he knows like once Slugworth gets his hands on the gobstopper, then the stock is just gonna go through the roof.
That's
He needs to
sneaky.
live on the dividends.
I mean,
Yeah.
it does honestly, like, it does feel like, and maybe they are like slug script, because it does sort of feel like, doesn't it sort of feel like that's a Wonka company town, and like after he shut it down, he like fucked over their entire economy.
Yeah, I would imagine there was an entire staff that worked
Right.
there, and then he completely replaced them.
Yeah.
It does also feel like there's a bit of like kid logic running through the movie that I sort of appreciate. And it's like 10,000 is just like big number. It's
Yeah.
like standard
Well, and his
for big
mom is
number.
like, "There's 100 billion people in this world."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great number. Do you think that the real story is that his staff wanted to unionize?
Yes.
And so then he said, "Oh, it's about corporate espionage," and then closed his doors. And
Yes, I do.
yeah,
Like, I hadn't thought that until you said it out loud, but now that you said it out loud, yes, absolutely, that's what happened.
And then he
But I have questions now
Okay.
about this, because if they were talking about how the doors used to be open and people could go into the factory, right?
yeah.
But people, they seemed shocked by what the factory looked like and how magical it was.
Mm-hmm.
So was it like a regular factory, and then it closed down, and then he went insane and built
Yes.
this like
Yeah.
weird
I think it's
psychedelic-
like I think it's like the
mansion,
House
I
on the
don't know.
Rock of
Yes.
It does feel like
factories.
House on the Rock.
Hell yeah, local reference, sort of.
Sort of.
That
Look it up.
that room that gets smaller, which is I think the most terrifying part of that whole place. It's just a
the
hallway
doorless
that, like,
one or the one with doors in it?
both of them are. I don't like that. I don't
Sure.
like the idea of walking down a hallway and it gets smaller by the end. You're just like all crunched together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's terrifying.
And
But that's like
camera
the
work is
Infinity
really good.
Room
Oh, sure.
at House on the Rock. It's in Wisconsin. Look it up if you have not been there before. It's wild.
It's great.
It's great.
Yeah.
Spring Green,
Yeah, that whole-
Wisconsin, where I
What?
got married. No big deal.
You got married at the
wow,
House on the
great.
Rock?
No, just the same town.
Spring Green.
Yep.
Dan is nodded for the listeners. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah. He definitely is a union buster, and then went and just found
An
an
indigenous tribe
island of
somewhere?
indigenous tribes that he claims were living in an unsustainable, hostile environment, which I call bullshit.
and then trick them into coming to work for free.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's what I think. He talked about all those beasts that can devour them at a 10 at a time.
Yeah.
What I think happened is that he brought wild fauna to the island,
Wow.
destabilized their ecosystem, and then
Sinister.
was like, "Oh, I'll bring you to this magical land of plenty where you'll work for me."
They
and
do.
you'll never see the sunshine again.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like every time that they sing their song, they always talk about how happy they are.
Oh, yeah, that is propaganda for sure.
Well, they had to learn all those songs and that choreography.
Yeah, that's true.
No, those motherfuckers are brainwashed.
I did look it up, and in the book that the Oompa Loompas. Okay, so I don't know how accurate this is because it just was on Google and I didn't, cite many sources and read the book myself. But it said that in the book that it's a black tribe
Oh,
in
for
Africa.
sure. I'm sure that's what it is.
And so when they made the movie, they gave them green hair and orange skin.
When they made the movie, somebody did a cartoonish collar pull as they were reading the story.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's definitely not cool. Like the Oompa Loompas are not cool.
But also they're very cool.
I mean, the performers are great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They crush it.
Apparently, that was an international search, and 9 men and 1 woman. Yeah, to find
Huh.
the cast.
Huh.
It's weird they could
I found-
only find one woman.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah. Huh.
I guess that's what. I guess they tried their best.
Yeah,
and
they must have.
that's what they found. Yeah.
You know what, though? In 1971, at least they found one.
Hey, all right.
She couldn't have a credit card in her own name, but she was cast in a
She could do a somersault in a weird costume.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, can we talk about somersaults?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Just as a concept?
Yes.
Okay.
They identified they really wanted Gene Wilder to play Willy Wonka. And
Who's they?
The producers of the film. And he said he would do it, but on the condition, and it's written in contract form, that when his character first appears, he must walk with a cane. And at a certain point, the cane must stand on its own. And he keeps going. And then he falls as if to fall on his face, but instead does a somersault and jumps up. And it has to be exactly like that or he won't do the film.
Fantastic.
So that's full Gene Wilder. That's not like in the book. He's
That's
just like, I want to do this in a movie.
Gene Wilder, and his logic was, I want the audience to know immediately that they cannot know whether or not he's lying.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Untrustworthy.
That rules.
Because he's so gracious when everybody's coming through the gates.
Yes, and he like almost switches like how he acts with everybody. Like
Yeah.
he's shaking hands really hard with the business guy, and he's like being very like I don't know, soft with Charlie and Grandpa.
I mean, I didn't quite get there, but like I definitely think the guy who plays Slugworth, who is actually an employee of his, is definitely just some sort of like demonic imp that he has summoned to his service, right? Because he can be anywhere in the world within a matter of minutes, probably.
Right. It's
because
like
how much time passes before a kid finds a golden ticket and they set up those press releases? That guy's got to go from Arizona to England
and he's there
to wherever else.
You're assuming that the distribution of the golden tickets is random. Right? If Willy Wonka knows where all those golden tickets are going.
But how would he know the order in which they're found? I mean, that guy is in the factory.
He's right there
when they open the ticket in the nut factory.
He's probably like doing some magic in the corner to put
He's
the
in
golden ticket in the chocolate
have like
bar.
a little tag air tag in each of the golden tickets.
Sure. But it's like edible.
Edible,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, Willy Wonka's a candy wizard. There's like
and this is his familiar. Sludge is his familiar. Like he is like a creature of.
It's a candy mancer.
Yeah. Yes, he's a candy mancer, and he's created this candy demon to dress as a human man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who can create a demon? Candyman can.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, and that dude is definitely like in his thrall, right?
The
Candyman?
Because if
just, like,
if there's
on
a
a
candy store in that
marshmallows at
town,
people?
right? And this factory supposedly never opens, then he must have an in with Wonka to even be able to get, you know what I mean? Because like they're not going to truck it over.
Bars.
It's just down the road. They're not going to truck that shit over.
Interesting. I don't know. That whole scene was so odd to me.
It's
Candyman
more
song?
propaganda.
Kids,
that dude is a
kids,
cult.
He was like, "Come on in, kids," and then he was just like throwing candy everywhere.
Yeah, bad business
What are you
model.
doing?
Sure.
Giving away free dots and stuff. It's just like, I don't know, in a ongoing global events pandemic world, to watch all the kids like come together, put their hands out, and then just like a scoop of M&Ms gets like put along the way. I was like, oh man, no one washed their hands before they came in here.
Oh man, that whole chocolate room sequence is just a hygienic nightmare.
Yeah.
Right? With the kids just like shoving their hands into those fruit balls, and like the kids just like, I mean, a gloop obviously is just it is patient zero. Just shoving his paws into the chocolate river, which to Wonka's credit, he is like, oh no, that shouldn't be happening. That is not good.
Yeah.
But like even the little plants and shit they're all eating, like who knows how many other kids have stuffed their little fingies in there.
Well, no one, right? No
Apparently
one's
a
been there.
lot of that set was edible.
Really?
Like 30% of it.
What? That is a much higher percentage than I would expect.
It looks
That's
great.
what I would think.
It's still really
It's
captured
super fun.
my imagination with all the colors and the goop. It's like beautiful and gross at the same time.
Yes.
Which I feel like is also kind of Gene Wilder's doing Willy Wonka.
His deal.
Where he's
Yeah.
like I was loving him. His performance is so good. Of just like being, as Beth was saying, like he's soft and very caring 1 minute, and then he's like legit scary the next, and like
Yeah.
pretty menacing the whole time.
Yeah.
He's awesome in this movie. Like, I love that character so much.
Yeah,
and
he is
every time
Loki.
he goes,
he is the coyote.
Yeah. Every time he goes, don't stop.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me.
Like there's like his
really
lawyers. His lawyers told him like you have to at least like act like you don't want this to happen.
No, stop.
But like,
so good.
Given how choreographed the Oompa Loompas are, like how much did he know this was going down, or manifest it?
I think he watched the footage and knew exactly how it was all going to play out.
So wait, are you suggesting then that like parts of that factory like weren't even set up yet until he knew which kids had the golden tickets? You know what I'm saying?
No, that's not what I was saying.
Maybe at least it might have affected the tour, like which rooms they went to, right?
It could be. I think it would more affect his like, hey, when I play the flute, please make sure we have the taffy machine running.
Yeah.
Also,
great flute.
Whip up a song.
Yeah.
This kid's definitely going to chew gum, so whip up a song about that.
Yeah.
This kid watches too much TV. I want some really good choreography and white suits.
Yeah. Oh, by the way,
cool orange lining.
To give you some inspiration, the kid's last name is literally TV.
Yeah, Molly, you wanted to talk about the names in this movie.
Oh, they're so good. Well, just the grandparents and actually all of the couples are like Joe and Josephine,
Henry,
Robert and Roberta, that kind of thing.
Yep.
All the way through. Even some of the ancillary characters that we only see once. Super fun. And of course, all the names of the characters are pretty incredible. Can I talk about the Chocolate River?
Please.
Okay.
So that Chocolate River was just dirty water. It was just dirty, nasty water that they had just put some food coloring in. You can kind of tell. And then they tried to add some actual cocoa in it to thicken it, and it just made it worse. And it reminded me of a story a friend of mine had who was a costumer at a major theater. And part of the production took place in the water. There was like a fountain. And the crew who made the set put real water in it, and it was functioning. But they were like, oh man, this is going to have to be up for weeks. So they went ahead and added some chlorine to it. And that was fine until dress rehearsal. And all of the actors get into the water with the chlorine. And of course, all of those costumes are just bleached, right?
No.
Like, it is completely incompatible. So they had to, of course, redo all of the costumes and come up with a different solution for the water.
Yikes.
But in the Willy Wonka example, they apparently put some mixture of chemicals and like salt softener to keep it from smelling as bad. But it was pretty nasty for those poor characters who had to actually end up in it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Ugh.
Gloop.
Yeah.
Gloop's a trooper.
Gloop's a troop.
Glooper.
Gloop's a troop. Molly, I don't want to accuse of any malfeasance, but
Sure.
I suspect that all of these fun facts about the movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory were not just like something that you were bringing to the table naturally. Like you already had these in your back pocket when we started recording the first half of the show.
That's fair. That's really fair. Yeah.
Your response?
During the movie, got a little bored.
Wow.
Okay.
And
During the early parts with the kids finding the tickets?
no, I
Or during
actually
the-
enjoyed that part. Just during some of the I don't know, walking through the factory and looking at magical stuff.
Yeah. It's
I
like,
know I should have been
wonder
interested.
and joy. Blah.
Ugh, what's on Wikipedia?
Industrial tour of
The movie
code-breaking factory.
Steve
Jobs,
Willy Wonka some serious happening on
.org.
Exactly. Thank you. Oh, I'm so sorry we used so much of our budget for the Wikipedia intro song, but it's really worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sat in dirty water.
One of the
the
most
whole time.
interesting facts I have sat on for many minutes.
Okay.
Wow.
Which is that this film was created because someone's 10-year-old had read the book and said, why can't we make this into a movie, Daddy? Why can't you ask Uncle so-and-so to write it? Something like that. I don't know. I didn't read very carefully. But he decided somebody who was the producer was in talks with the Quaker Oat Company.
Okay.
Who was in progress on purchasing a chocolate company, and they were going to release a new chocolate. And he said, why don't you release Willy Wonka chocolate and fund the $500,000 we need to make this movie? And then it's essentially a 2-hour commercial.
What?
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So like the commercial flavor of this movie is literally baked in.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
then it wasn't like a runaway hit right away. And so when Paramount had the rights and they let them lapse, and so it went back to the Quaker Company, and then they sold it to Warner Brothers. Oh, maybe they sold it for $500,000. Anyway, they sold it to Warner Brothers, and then Warner Brothers showed it on TV, and it became a massive hit and a cult favorite. You're welcome.
Wow.
They have to, so they had to pay Roald Dahl for the right to use Willy Wonka as a chocolate bar name.
Oh, yes. And they really wanted him to write the screenplay, and instead they got an outline that just referred to the book for many sections.
Oh, wow. Because he's credited as screenplay by
That's a baller move.
is.
That is a baller move. Like, please just look at the book I already wrote.
I wrote the book. What
I
are you
love
doing?
that.
And so then they got one of the co-producers to basically write the whole thing uncredited because they needed Roald Dahl's credibility as the screenwriter.
Right.
Wow.
And so it was sort of like a write this one and the next one you'll get credit for.
Wow.
Did he get credit for his next one?
You know, I didn't click the link.
Billy Blanca
not
and
sure.
the Cocoa warehouse.
Yeah, I think he probably wrote Lethal Weapon.
Sure.
I haven't really looked it up.
Yeah.
I want a Billy Blanca and the Cocoa t-shirt.
Hey, we got a merch store.
Yeah, that's right.
Make it
You
happen.
could make it happen.
Can we look to buy a chocolate bar company too?
Totes Bar.
Totes Bar.
I mean, we can look to it.
Totes chocolate. Totes chocolate.
Recall it.
Oh.
Nope.
Colette.
It's interesting to me that this was supposed to be an ad for the chocolate, because I don't feel like that chocolate is very popular. You know, like I've had. Does that company sell Everlasting Gobstoppers? Because that's the thing I've had the
Like
most.
all the Wonka brand is Quaker Oats.
Yeah, they sold it off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they sold it off pretty soon after.
I remember it being sort of big when I was in high school. I feel like I was seeing more like Wonka candy, like, you know, much later than the 70s, obviously. I was not in high school because I'm 35.
Well, and then people had all of these, because when we were at the first half, we were talking about how it's not called Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. It's called Willy Wonka. Mm-hmm. And there were all these theories about it because Charlie had been like a derogatory term in a few contexts, and maybe they were doing it for that reason.
Oh, Vietnam.
And then when they talked to the producer was like, well, we're trying to sell Willy Wonka chocolate, so we kind of need
Interesting.
like, and also if you say, oh, I saw that Charlie movie, nobody knows what you're talking about.
Right.
But if you say, I saw that Willy Wonka or that Wonka movie,
They're like, ooh,
everybody
what's
knows.
that? And then they go to their local candy store and they're like, ooh, I remember that.
With marshmallows.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's just like looking them right now. It's like, eat the Wonka bar, taste the Wonka bar.
Taste the magic.
I want to go back and talk about the Bucket family some more.
Please.
So the grandparents are sleeping 4 to a bed, head to toe, as we talked about, and still
they have never left for 20 years.
That's the thing that really got me. Bedridden for 20 years, and there's no dad, as far as we know. The mom is there making cabbage water every day and doing everything except sewing scarves.
They do all that exposition at the beginning that his dad died.
Oh, I missed it.
Yep.
In a factory accident? Probably, right?
Probably.
Maybe he's the reason the factory was shut
he's the
down.
real reason they had to shut it down.
Oh, those scenes are so sweet. Oh, we didn't get to it. I was going to say the play-by-play of emotional moments is so sweet. Charlie gets his first job, uses his paycheck to buy a loaf of bread, brings it home. His mom says, oh, we'll feast on this. That prompts the grandpa to say, you know what? I'm giving up my tobacco. Oh, then he says, Grandpa, I'm going to use the rest of this money for you to buy your tobacco. And he says,
The other three grandparents don't get any money?
Well, he's
obviously
clearly
Grandpa
the
Joe's the
favorite.
favorite.
Big
yeah.
time favorite. Yeah.
And also, we have some questions about how bedridden he really is.
Yes, I want to talk about that.
Yeah. Whatever. You just watch the movie, see the play-by-play. But it's very sweet. Oh, anyway,
Yeah.
so
there's
Charlie
a whole song about it.
There's a whole song, but Charlie offers to buy his granddad's tobacco, and he says, well, when bread is a feast, how can I buy tobacco? And he says, please, Dad, please take the money. And it's just so heartbreaking. It's genuinely sweet.
She's like, it's just a pipe a day.
Oh. Although, how unpleasant for the other three grandparents.
You right? He's smoking a pipe and just ashing out in the bed? What's going on?
Come on.
once a day.
Go to a window, man.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, and she just does laundry? She just does laundry all day?
She does the city's laundry.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's bleak.
Yeah.
Yes. It's even bleaker, though, upon realization that Grandpa Joe could have gotten up at any time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He like wobbles one time. He's
She's
laying
been
there for 20
slaving away
years.
for 20
Come on.
years, keeping that entire family afloat. He couldn't have gone out and just like, I don't know, been a cobbler or some shit.
Yeah, he could have had a knife
Man.
cart.
Yeah, he could have had a knife cart.
Yeah.
Then he wouldn't even need to worry about if he wobbled. He could just lean on the cart.
Yeah.
And honestly, the bed sore situation would have been terrible.
Yikes.
Ugh.
Like, I'm glad that when he got out of the bed, we didn't see the other three's legs because yowza.
Who knows? Maybe they can
Bless
all get
them.
up and they like go out dancing every night, smoking pipes.
Oh, like after she goes to sleep,
Yeah.
after Mama Bucket goes to sleep?
Yeah.
Probably. Fucking freeloaders.
Yeah. That's right.
They don't even say like why they're bedridden. Like,
No.
were they all bedridden at the same time for the same reason?
The message of this movie is that the elderly are a parasite on our society.
Yeah.
Yikes.
It's rough stuff. But Charlie's a sweet boy.
He's such a sweet boy. Oh, the
So
part where
nice.
they think all the tickets are gone. And they're talking about how they don't want to tell him and break his heart. And he's like, let him sleep one more night thinking there's hope. And he's awake and crying in bed.
Yeah, I said out loud to myself, "Oh, Charlie."
Oh, Charlie.
You bit me.
He's a sweet boy. A sweet American boy with his
Okay,
American
I have a lot
family.
Of questions. I just assumed they were British.
Me too.
Yeah.
Then I
seem
watched the
British
movie.
enough.
No, they did not.
Everybody seems like 70s British.
No way. Are you kidding me? The only British people were the Salts.
Well, and the teachers,
Yeah, and
right?
And the
Teacher.
teacher.
The teacher was terrible. I have to say, this was a real takedown of education as well. Both of the teachers in this movie were terrible.
That math teacher, I was liking his vibe until he was like, both shamed Charlie for only opening 2 chocolate bars and then couldn't do the percentage.
Yeah. He's like, I can't do
2
that.
out of 1,000.
Come on, dude.
So sad.
Yeah.
And then TV's mom is a teacher.
Oh, right. She's a geography teacher.
Geography teacher.
That's right.
And she didn't know anything about Oompa Loompa Land.
Yeah.
Probably because it's some like weird, unestablished sovereign state that's surrounded by like other exploiting nation states.
Yeah. I mean,
And then Wonka comes in with his chocolate money, bribes the local heads of state so he can get access to it.
I guess to be fair to the movie, though, he's got an elevator that can go kind of anywhere. And you said in the second book he goes to like alien worlds. So don't you
I think he just goes to the moon.
Oh.
He might just go to the moon.
Okay. I feel like he
But
might
that,
travel to other worlds. He still like stole those folk.
oh, absolutely. You're sitting there like multidimensionally. They're from a different
Yeah.
plane of existence. Okay. Okay. Either way, that's even worse. Multidimensional colonialism. He's like expanded the concept.
Yeah.
Yowza.
The book
Mm-hmm.
does take place in England, which is maybe why you thought that they would be English.
Yeah,
Doesn't
that's
this-
exactly what I thought.
Does this one
Well,
not take
and it
place
was
in England?
Filmed
No, it's in North America.
It certainly
Oh.
seems that way.
A lot of it was filmed in Munich.
That's fun. The
Interesting.
most American
It's all-
town in Europe.
All filmed in Europe. So
It was just surprising when Charlie spoke out loud. I'm like, what the fuck? I was expecting an
Oh.
adorable little British boy.
Yeah, it's weird.
in my mind, he spoke with a British accent the entire time.
I'm with Molly on this. Everybody it just felt British, and so I didn't worry too much about the accent.
I mean, did you even see his sweater? His like hand knit little quaint sweater.
There are adorable urchins in all parts of the world.
Not in America.
The British Empire, the sun never set, and there were sad, poor white children in a big chunk of that empire. So, and even sadder non-white children, but we won't talk about that.
But that sweater was super British, man.
You can still get
Or 70s.
Yeah.
Well, but
And so is like boiling laundry and being like that poor.
Why is
You
What are you
understand that like
talking
the economies of England and America were very similar for a long time,
No,
right?
I'm with Molly. It just feels British.
No way. They're in New
Well, all
England.
those
It's
buildings.
New English.
Yeah. It looks like they're English school children.
they didn't say anything about parking the car.
What?
Yeah. There's no chowder heads.
Chowder, chowder.
Wow, wow.
Yeah, I was very on.
Yeah. I just let the architecture fill in for me. I just didn't even think about it.
You let the architecture do the accent work for you.
Yes.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah. I want to talk about some more MVPs. Knife cart
Please.
guy, obviously.
Terrifying.
Yeah, obviously.
The harbinger of the terrible era of the dark candy wizard revealing himself to the world.
Yeah, that's right. He speaks in like what feels like a passage out of Beowulf or something.
Yeah.
And then so does Willy Wonka. He's always like, after every kid dies, he whispers a little like line of literature or something that I couldn't quite follow, but I was like, this is good for adding menacingness. Just like
he's
appear to be quoting something.
Yeah. He is an unreliable trickster god.
Yeah.
yeah.
For sure. But Mr. Joe Peck crushes it. He's like the newsman.
Excuse me? Oh.
Who gives Charlie his job. I loved him. He looked after Charlie.
Oh, he's the one that was like, run, Charlie, run home.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Before he got torn apart
Right?
by the mob. Yeah.
But I think one of my favorite guys was the computer guy. In all the little vignettes of like, we got to get these bars. Computer guy has programmed a supercomputer to predict where all the bars are, and he like enters in a code on like 3 buttons, and then gets a punch card out from a sassy computer who's like, I won't cheat. I don't need any chocolate bars. And then
I
it's just
love that.
like, I don't know. Maybe this is also why I felt like everybody was British. A lot of people felt like Monty Python characters to me.
Yeah.
Very
Like
tweed.
that guy, like the math teacher. I just felt like they all were going to break out into like Silly Walk or something.
Yeah.
Well, and apparently all of the Monty Python actors tried to be in this movie, expressed an interest, but none of them were considered bankable enough at the time.
Like they wanted to be Wonka? Or
they
just in
wanted
the
to be
movie?
whoever.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
just in the
They
movie.
could have been in those vignettes. That would have been
Oh, yeah.
very
so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Sammy Davis Jr. wanted to be one of the candy salespeople, like at the candy shop.
Candyman.
Oh,
But they were like, they didn't want to have anybody so famous. Also, probably didn't want to pay him.
right.
But Sammy Davis Jr. redid the Candyman song, which is why it's so familiar to all of us. But it's original to Willy Wonka, which I didn't realize. Dan, I want to build on your computer guy because I loved computer guy and how increasingly desperate he got.
Yeah.
Yes.
But him juxtaposed against the 3 people listening to
Yes.
him, those 3 were absolutely amazing.
Like
I
the
wish I
stoic,
knew-
silent
Yes.
businessman. Yeah.
Exactly. And they do evolve ever so slightly. It's really beautiful. And part of me wondered if they were just never told what they were in. If they
Like
just
what
had a
they were
camera put
looking
on
at,
them and
yeah.
like, can you wait here for a few minutes?
And get like
While we just
slightly
do a
more
test shot.
frustrated.
Yeah.
Yes,
like they
exactly.
shot the computers, like the computer guy scene, like on a completely separate day.
Totally
Yeah.
separate.
Oh,
yes.
absolutely.
Because they're never in the same shot together.
No, it's beautiful.
One of the vignettes that I most appreciated was this woman whose husband had been abducted.
Yes,
And she
Jesus
would give
Christ.
anything for the ransom. She has this incredible moment where she does like a very 1940s, 1950s delivery of, all I want is to have Harold back.
Yeah.
It's like all this one like slur,
was great.
extremely dramatic.
Yes.
It was like one of the best line deliveries I've ever
Yeah.
heard.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
she
love
was,
that
like-
scene.
She was great.
Yeah.
I really didn't remember those scenes being in the movie. And so like that was such a delight. I was like, this is such a weird little like I don't know, like just a joke,
Yeah.
They're just like, what if we just
do
did
it like
this
sketch
joke in the
comedy.
middle of, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like
like
the
20
tone is
minutes of it
different.
too.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, like-
and the therapist scene I really enjoyed. Of like,
that was
yeah.
good too.
we know your dreams they mean nothing once you admit that you're a maniac. Whatever. It's like, the herald angel Gabriel spoke to me. It's like, where's the chocolate?
Yeah.
It's like,
Or like how the president of the United States had a van full of chocolate bars shipped to them, and then the Queen of England apparently went to an auction house to bid on the last case of Wonka bars in England or whatever.
Yeah, amazing.
Also great.
Yeah. Should we talk about the horrible, wretched children that accompany Charlie on
we
his
should.
journey?
Yeah.
I think
We talked about their silly names, but I feel like we need to dig into the meat a little
I'm
bit.
going to make a bold statement.
Okay.
Veruca Salt is the worst one.
I agree.
She's
I hate her.
I hate her. Like, there's nothing about her. I want her to be out first because she's just she's just the worst.
Yeah, salt like salt peanuts, right?
Kid was
Yeah.
great, though.
But it's not her,
not her
fault,
fault,
right?
as the Oompa
Even the
Loompas
Oompa
say.
Loompa song says it was her
The
mother and
mother
father's
and the
fault.
father.
And I also thought it was great because her dad is the only one who also gets the same, is in
Yes.
the exact same situation
right.
as she is.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Down the goose
That's
hole.
true.
Fun fact, that scene took 36 takes.
Which part?
And it all took place on her 13th birthday, where she has the breakdown with the goose
yeah.
eggs and
Yeah.
does the screaming and all that.
Yeah.
You had to do that like 36 times.
Like the whole song?
I think so.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
Again, I don't click beyond what's in
Sure.
Wikipedia.
Okay.
So
She crushed it, though.
she did
Like the
great,
actor
though.
playing Veruca Salt.
Yeah.
Like
I
she
hate her
was
so
so
much,
good
yeah.
at just being like just this entitled little turd.
oh, it's so great because you know the word scream is coming because she turns all sweet and you know that she's going to sing the word scream.
Yeah.
But she doesn't scream it.
Right.
And then she just has a total meltdown and destroys everything around her.
Yes.
I will admit, it was, I watched this before bedtime for my child.
Mm-hmm.
And she asked for an extra book, and I was like, no, I have to establish boundaries immediately.
I can't create another Salt.
Yeah, I watched this with my child tonight, and we had to talk. I had to talk about why it was sort of the parents' fault that she was that way. How it's a parent's job to set boundaries, and teach a child that how much is a good amount of things.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not her fault because, like, the one scene you get with her parents, like, her mother clearly hates her father and hates,
Her
like, their
mother's
entire.
like just checked out
Yeah.
Oh,
entirely.
yeah, absolutely. Like, she is just riding whatever stipend she gets every week from the peanut factory
Yeah.
to buy her own things.
Veruca Salt's little red dress, though, is so epic. It is like a drawing. It is
Yes.
amazing.
Agreed. All of their outfits
Perfect.
were fun.
Yeah.
Like, they were,
Oh.
like,
Yeah. The costuming and set design is incredible.
Yeah.
I love his office at the end.
so
Half of
weird.
things.
It's so, like,
So weird.
unnecessarily weird.
I just
Well,
love it.
apparently,
that clock.
originally it was all regular.
Okay.
But the production designer was like, here we've had this magical journey and we're going to end up in an office that looks normal. Cut everything in half.
Yeah, I love that.
Easy.
I thought it was
That's
great.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that pendulum. Like when it like is going off because it's the clock's cut in half, but the pendulum is still swinging both
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
Well, I
It's
think
such a good visual.
I think even
great.
the and I really loved the his hat sitting on like the half
Yeah,
head, and then I think even the contract copy he pulled up, it was only half of it. I'm pretty sure.
I didn't
think it was
notice
just
that.
half of the
That's
piece of
funny.
paper. Yeah.
Did you know Gene Wilder wanted the hat 2 inches shorter than it had already been?
Okay.
So I guess less of a top hat and more special. You thought it'd be more special.
Interesting.
It was a little shorter. And I think he's right because it's a very weird
It
height
is a weird
for a
hat.
hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Iconic.
It's like neither a top hat nor a regular hat.
Trilby, whatever the fuck they're called.
Oh, it has a name.
I don't know.
Oh.
Mandy, what hat am I thinking of?
Yeah, I think trilbies are the ones that everybody said were fedoras when ska was
okay.
really happening.
Got it. So that one, Trilby has a little divot then.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that a pork pie hat?
I
the
don't
pork
know.
pie is round on the top.
Wow.
Boater.
boater?
Is it a boater?
Or bowler?
A bowler?
Not a bowler.
Boater.
Oh wait, pork pie. No, pork pie does have a. Now a bowler hat has a round.
For sure, bowler's
Right?
round.
I
Yeah.
thought a pork pie hat had like it looked like a can opener had opened it, or is that just in
I
cartoons?
think that's
No, I think
in
you're right.
cartoons. That's a top hat with the top busted
That's
out.
a
'cause-
poor person's top hat. Yeah.
when you have like a
Oh.
hobo
I think
cat.
maybe I'm thinking of a pork pie.
We don't know our hats.
Don't know our hats. We can name a surprising amount of hats, but we don't really know.
Yes, we don't know what they are. Mandy, please social media at us.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do a special hat talk. Maybe that'll be some of our special content, as we'll just get
Great.
Mandy on and she can explain
Patrons?
all the hats to us.
Teaser alert,
Explain
patrons.
hats to us.
We're going to learn about hats at some point in our lives. It's
All
going to
the
be
hats.
great. All of them.
So we covered one of the kids.
We've got
Yes.
Mike TV, who also sucks.
Yep.
He's
Yes.
like
He also
aggressive
sucks.
because he watches too much TV.
It's funny that, like, you know, his whole thing is like, I watch a lot of TV, but it's like he apparently mostly just watches like Westerns.
Yeah.
Because he's always dressed as a cowboy.
Yeah.
And maybe that was just, I don't even remember. I mean, that might even be in the book because that might have been Roald Dahl's thing of just like, that's an American TV, right? Just a bunch
Yeah.
of fucking cowboys shooting at each other.
Yeah. Would have been accurate probably at that point in time.
Yeah. Bonanza.
Bonanza.
I don't know. Gunsmoke. Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
Gunsmoke was
two.
on for years.
Yeah.
They went through multiple Gunsmokes.
Oh.
Is it like the CSI of the 70s?
I guess
Cowboy genre?
it was more like the James Bond of Western TV. I feel like they kept having like whenever they had to recast the main dude, it was like his cousin or something. It was like the main character's cousin who suddenly came into
Yes.
town or something.
Yeah.
That makes sense, though.
Yeah.
Gunsmoke talk. Look it up.
Look it up.
I don't know.
We've got Augustus Gloop, whose crime is that he is fat and eats too much.
Yeah, which is that feels very much like a mid 20th century British writer kind of thing, right? But it's like, this kid eats too much and that is a problem.
Yeah.
Because even that one, they don't
Well-
blame the parents at all, right? In the song?
I think in the song, it's twofold. One, half of it is fat shaming,
Yes.
and the other
Yeah.
half is like, don't be greedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was
Sure.
unclear if his sin was greed or gaining weight.
That said, though,
Gluttony.
one of my I have a MV pair,
Wow.
Ooh.
Still P.
PAIR, not the fruit.
Okay.
Oh.
And that is when Augustus Gloop's father just like almost subconsciously eats the journalist microphone.
I really
Yes.
laughed at that.
And then the journalist just has another microphone ready to go. Like he knew this might happen. Or like his producer was like, listen, I've seen this family down at the restaurant before. Bring a backup microphone.
Oh, that reminds me. I toured a third chocolate factory in Germany,
Jesus.
in Cologne. It was great. And there was a little German boy very excited to be in the chocolate factory with chocolate smeared all over his face, and I almost lost my damn mind seeing like a real life
my
Augustus
gosh.
Gloop.
It happens. It's real.
Yeah.
They do exist.
Yeah.
Was he wearing the whatever
He
they're
had
called?
he definitely had
Lederhosen?
short
Yeah.
shorts on. I don't think he had full lederhosen, but he had.
It's good enough.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, it's
That's
really
amazing.
good. Yeah.
That's really sweet.
We've got Violet Beauregard,
Beauregard.
which her last name doesn't really sound like her sin.
It's Southern.
Oh, that's her crime.
And her crime is she chews gum too much. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And she also says, cool it.
She says cool it, mom.
Which
And
rules.
she
Cool it, mother.
She says, cool it, mother, and cool, it, dad.
and
Oh,
can
so
it, you
good.
nitwit.
And does she deliver our only Bechdel Wallace win with "Shut up, you nit"?
Can it.
She says some. She calls
Can
some,
it, you
"Can
nit."
it, you nit."
Yep, there's that moment. There's also
yeah,
a
that
moment
was awesome.
where she and her mom talk at I think it's her and her mom talk. No.
Yeah, when
Two
I think when
passes.
Violet is getting interviewed, the mom is there and she
Oh, she says
talks.
cool it, mother. That's the back and forth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Is mother, does that count as a name?
Well, she's.
Mrs. Beauregard.
We know she's Mrs. Beauregard.
Is she named? I thought only your dad got a first name.
I don't think she has a first name. Does that?
We don't know. Are you
I don't
named
know.
if
Does
you're
anybody
only
refer to her?
last name?
I don't know.
Which is probably her husband's name that she took.
Yeah.
Well, it passes on knit.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I really enjoyed the dynamic between the two girls, where Violet was like, just did not have time for Veruca's shit. Like, she just had no patience for her. It was amazing.
Well, and she had no patience generally. I liked the Oompa Loompa song about the gum chewing the most.
Okay.
I can't remember what the words were, but it was very funny.
Was it because they were rolling a big blueberry lady around?
Well, and it was disturbing to me because I noticed probably there was a meme that drew my attention to it originally that I'd forgotten about. But when they roll her out, it's a model. So it's a really creepy blue-looking sort of face with a wig on.
Oh, no.
And two wooden feet. And it is like the stuff of horror movies.
That's terrifying.
So I was pretty distracted by that.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's clever. I wish I'd written it down. Watch it.
Yeah.
Watch that.
Audience, enjoy.
It's something I appreciate that, like, they at least give you the out of, like, it's fine to chew gum sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, they're not just like completely anti-gum,
Yeah.
which would be insane because they manufacture it themselves.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of creepy stuff, I forgot how sort of groovy and psychedelic this movie was. 71.
Oh my God.
We're like Groove Central here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I was so taken aback at how beautiful it was. And
Right.
I realized the only other time I've seen it was when it was washed out projection.
in your YMCA or whatever?
Yeah. With my YMCA situation, I think it was day camp in Memphis, Tennessee.
Nice.
That's my best recollection. But yeah, it is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Who knew?
I'm convinced that every single thing in that first room was laced with a hallucinogen.
I feel like the pen that they signed their contract with. Was
Even that had like LSD on it.
Yeah, like they're like, the hallway is getting bigger, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just a regular hallway the whole time.
He's getting bigger. Yeah, I think that's when it first started to.
Sure. So do you think it actually is just a regular factory, but he like pumped them full of drugs? Oh man, I'm
cool thing.
floating after drinking that soda, man.
Honestly, entirely possible.
Yeah.
And it really kicks in that tunnel.
Yeah.
Oh my
the boat
God.
On the
trip
boat.
is
That-
full nightmare stuff.
I remembered,
so scary.
I remembered the tunnel being like, oh yeah, they go in a tunnel and there's like a bunch of colored lights and he says something
Yeah.
creepy. I did not remember there are like industrial films of like livestock getting rendered on the
Yes.
walls of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Like, you straight up see a chicken get its head cut off.
Oh man.
And
It
then
is
like
just
Gene Wando's got
nuts.
this like just really like what do you call it?
Yeah.
Like I don't know, his chant is just like really driving of like
yeah,
he's
and then it
building
turns into this
tension.
just like aggressive soliloquy about
Yeah.
like the horrors of life.
Yeah.
And
It almost felt like Edgar Allan Poe
yes.
esque to me, like the whatever he's saying about
Absolutely.
the rowing and the boat keeps rowing and rowing.
I mean that
Nevermore.
whole
Yeah, exactly.
that whole sequence, like from the moment that they like sign a contract, like waving their rights and lives away, and then entering this tunnel of horrors, like it just felt very like, yeah, I don't know. It had a very like satanic undertone to
Yeah.
it.
I loved it.
Like, now you're mine and you've come into my domain.
Yeah. It was a real trip.
It was a real trip.
Yeah, they should remake it with all weed gummy factories.
There you go. Chili Chonka and the feel good. I already said warehouse. What's another one? I don't know.
Yeah. Feel good arboretum.
I love that. Oh, he shut down the Arboretum 3 years ago, and no one has come out since. I can see the trees over the wall. No one has come out.
Well,
Yeah, that was nuts.
yeah.
And I loved how the dads, especially, like they approached everything just like, oh yes, just a bunch of businessmen, equal businessmen
also in
talking
business.
amongst ourselves. And it's
Oh.
like, dude, this is a demon who is like pulling you and your families into his realm.
There was a beautiful throwaway line where one of the businessmen asks the other what he's in. What business you in? And I guess it's Beauregard or whatever who owns the car lot.
Yeah.
And the guy says nuts. And he just like turns around with such disgust.
Yeah.
It's like an amazing moment.
Well, I think the gag is that he thought he was like telling him to fuck off. Like nuts to you.
Oh.
Oh. Oh, well, I find it equally
still
funny.
funny.
It's just a dismissal of his
nuts.
field
Just
of
like,
work. Nuts are stupid.
Yeah. Ugh. Old
More of a droop
world.
guy.
Oh. Check out Patreon content from years ago.
Talking about nuts, I think is the title.
Nice.
Maybe we'll do a part 2 someday.
Well, I thought we already did.
We've definitely done part 2.
Maybe we'll round it out part 3.
Oh, nice. The trilogy.
There's
Trilogy
nothing
must
left to
complete.
say.
TikTok, Mr. Nuts.
Well, for TikTok, and there's 4.
That's true.
Before we get to our final reviews and rankings of the movie we just watched, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, we'd like to turn to Discord and answer some questions and comments, Q's and C's.
Oh, my God. We
Great.
are heading towards fan engagement.
We are almost there to fan engagement.
I'm on the edge of my seat, ready to take a creepy chocolate boat into
That's
the tunnel
right.
of
We're
fan
watching
engagement.
Centipedes crawl over corpses.
That's right.
Toad's Head number 5 asks, who would win in a cage fight between Gene Wilder and Johnny Depp? Well, to be the bummer in the room, I believe there was a court case about Johnny Depp's potential for violence.
Yeah, I mean, I think Johnny Depp would fight dirtier.
Yeah. Gene Wilder seems like a sweet man, actually.
But I think Gene Wilder, given the right situation, I feel like given the right situation, he could just like outsmart him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's definitely like a much better improviser.
Yes.
You know, he can roll with the punches a bit better.
And he can literally roll, as we saw in this movie. So, like,
Yes.
maybe he'd just do like a quick like ooh, and then like humiliate Johnny Depp rather than physically overtake him.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd like to watch that, actually.
Yeah.
And there's some age difference there, too, right? I feel like Gene Wilder's still with us, but like,
Is he?
Oh, I would
very old.
assume they mean at the time they each of them filmed them.
Oh,
Willy
okay.
Wonka's.
Which
Yeah.
Wonka?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what I'm saying. Like Frozen in time. Like when you're like, oh, who would win in a sport thing?
Yeah.
This sport person or that sport
Yeah, they
person?
say
You
that.
assume, you know.
They're both at their
That they're both
prime.
sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gene Wilder passed away in 2016.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Ooh,
Yeah.
What a gem.
What a gem.
Really?
yeah.
But yeah, I
Team
think
Gene.
Team Gene.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm Team Gene for sure. I just don't know if he knew it was coming. I think he could overtake and humiliate Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if he could prepare for it. But
I
if like
believe in
Johnny
him.
Depp was just like said like go get him, he'd probably be a real dick about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Plus, he'd probably be wearing like lots and lots of rings.
And scarves.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
You could do
true.
a lot of damage
So he
with
could just
some
like
rings and
completely
scarves.
like rope him up with his silk scarves, then basically has brass knuckles on all the
Yeah,
time.
that's a good point.
And Gene Wilder would be so confused. Like, what accent is that?
Yes,
yeah.
right,
know?
exactly.
Yeah.
You're like, what are you? Are you Cockney? Are you? What are you doing?
Yeah. He's 70s British.
Sure.
Carzon asks, how great is the use of color in this? My memories have
So
it as
great.
my memories have it as just dripping with colors throughout. Agree.
Yeah,
I think we talked
great.
about that.
I loved
as
it.
long as you don't watch
purple
it.
coat that Wonka wears.
Oh,
Amazing.
I'd wear
yes.
that.
And even like in all the kids' outfits are great.
Yeah.
Like,
I wish I had Carzon's memory of those colors.
Yep.
Yep.
you just watched it.
Well, I do now.
As a child.
Oh, you mean from the YMCA film reel?
Yes.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course.
Beth, leave as many references to that YMCA film reel as you possibly can in this
important.
episode.
Maybe even like pepper some extra ones in.
Yeah, Molly's
YMCA.
Just
Yeah,
drop it
man.
in.
Yeah.
My MVP was YMCA.
Molly's trying to get a refund for a camp from 30 years ago.
Yeah.
All right, my last name is a palindrome. States, I'm just thinking of how rank that grandparent bed must be. Yeah, we talked about
Yeah.
it. Bed sores galores.
Although we know the sheets are clean.
We do?
Well, a
She washes the
professional
sheets.
launderer
How?
lives in the house. Well,
to
they have
get
to get
all
out.
the parents out of the bed. And
What do they do? They just like shove them on the floor, and then Charlie has to pick them all back up individually.
maybe
I mean,
put them in a
there
chair.
are ways to change sheets underneath.
Yeah.
That's true.
patients.
I
That's
hope
true.
they have a second set of sheets.
Oof, yeah, but they're pretty
Oh.
poor.
How would we know?
They probably use the other set in
agree
sheet
with
water.
this.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ugh.
Okay, I agree with the spirit of the question, but my optimism
It was a
won't
comment.
let me go there fully. Comment.
You want to believe that the professional launderer was successfully able to launder the
It's
sheets.
a fair point.
Yeah.
She's a professional.
But like, are they bathing?
And how are they
gotta-
using the restroom?
I mean,
bedpans?
how is
Bedpans, probably.
And
how
Grandpa
is he
Joe, it
getting
smells
to
like
buy
tobacco. All the-
How
Hey,
is he
wait a
getting to
minute.
buy it then? Right?
Yeah.
And, like, why is Charlie giving him the money if
Where
he's
did he
not
get
if
that
he's
Wonka
truly
bar?
bedridden? Yeah.
Does he
So
send?
I think he
They're going out.
he gets up.
Yeah.
There's holes in this story.
Yeah.
This whole story stinks like a bed full of 4 grandparents.
All right. The reference machine asks, would you eat any of the stuff in the candy is everything room? Yeah, I think so.
I thought the gummy bears on a tree looked kind of fun.
Those look fun.
Yeah.
I would not eat
Those
the
ears were edible.
ears.
The what?
The ears of those big gummy bears.
Oh yeah,
were
didn't
edible.
what's her name actually take a bite out of one when he gave it to him? I was really charmed by the teacup flour that he drank
love
out of
that.
and then ate the flour.
Yeah.
That was made of wax.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
He had to spit it out, but that was super fun.
Yeah.
that's funny.
Well, good on the Foley guy for like eating an apple or whatever after
Yeah.
the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, I specifically, my Beth's Beyond Patrol walked in the house at that point, and I was like, "Watch this part; it's the best."
Yeah.
Yeah. I would.
Did he?
He did.
How do you feel about it?
He enjoyed it.
Okay,
Great.
great.
Yeah.
But
Did
was
you
it
watch
the
any of
best?
those like British education scenes?
He
Any
didn't,
comment
but-
there.
He did not, but I think he came in after that part. But he did say that in the book, which he has read, all the kids are dead.
No.
What?
Incorrect. No, because
don't
when
die?
because when they're up in the elevator at the end, Charlie looks down and he sees all of them coming out of the factory. They're just all fucked up. They're all like disfigured.
In the book, though.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. He remembers them as being dead, and he's like, "That's more British."
Wow.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like being permanently disfigured for your greed.
Have we
boy.
said Beth's Beyond Boyfriend is from England? Have I said that?
I don't know.
That's,
Have we
that's
ever
where
said
the
that?
British comes into play.
Yeah.
Why he would know about British teachers.
I mean, unless I made that up, like maybe that's another dopey's head comes off situation for me,
yeah, exactly.
where I just like to disfigure fictional characters. In
We'll
my
have to
mind.
look it up.
We'll have to
I
look it
might
up.
read it. Maybe I'll read the book.
I might read it too, honestly. Like I remember that book being fun, and it's probably way shorter than I remember.
Should we do that as our bonus content?
Just read Charlie
it,
and the
and then
Chocolate
we'll do a
Club.
totes recall with the book.
Totes book call.
Book call.
What was the question?
We answered it.
Okay.
The reference machine further asks, should the Oompa Loompas unionize? Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Well, I mean,
We're
based
a
on what
pro-union
happened to the
podcast.
previous unionizing force, I don't know.
Wow, Molly.
Well, Charlie's
mean-
in charge
Threats
now,
work.
maybe.
But he's just going to play hardball.
Charlie?
Really?
I mean, maybe
Charlie.
not. Maybe he'll just buy everybody.
Although Wonka
tobacco.
is going to like impose all of his beliefs onto Charlie.
He made that very clear.
He
at
made
the end.
that
He's
very
like,
clear.
I wanted to hire a child because I can make a
tell
kid
them
do whatever
exactly
I
what
want.
to do. Yeah, that was a little weird.
Yeah.
It was weird. And then he was like, "Give me a hug."
Yep. Yeah. Now that's British,
Yeah.
right? Oh, I'll mold this child to be whatever I want so that industry can continue. Now you get one hug.
Yeah.
Yes, your entire family can come live in the factory. Of course. We could use their hands.
My last name's a palindrome asks, do you think Roald Dahl would want more child endangerment in an adaptation of his work?
Yes.
Apparently
I do
he was
think that.
very unhappy with this version.
Really?
Just felt too much frivolity was introduced,
Sure.
and that they should have just. I mean, he like referenced his own book in an outline that I think he was basically like, just read the book.
Right. Yeah, I mean, my wife mentioned, no big deal. My wife mentioned after the movie was over, like, she's like, yeah, I always liked that about Roald Dahl, that, like, he, like, a lot of his children's literature still has, like, this undercurrent of just, like, yeah, people are fucked up and things can go real bad.
Yeah.
So I guess, I bet it was the freestanding cane and the somersault, and after that, Dahl was like, fuck this movie.
All right. Benvis asks, which forbidden candy would most tempt you? I think there are forbidden ones, right? Does someone turn into a blueberry? Yes, someone does.
Yes. For me, most definitely the bubbles that make you fly.
Oh, so fun.
I'd be into that. I loved every bit of that scene until they were about to die.
Ooh, I will say, though, that when they figured out how to get back down, the whole time I was thinking, like, I cannot belch at will. This is my nightmare room of the factory.
Have you tried tapping on your belly?
Just what?
Have you tried it? Dan?
You try it. It will help you. If you tap your belly,
right now.
you can get yourself to burp.
Or like you're burping yourself like you would
like
a baby?
Yeah.
On the back, though.
I mean, not right now necessarily, but
All right.
drink a bubbly drink
Uh-huh.
and then try tapping your belly. And I bet.
All right. But I know people who can just, like, burp whenever they want.
Both my,
that's not
both
me.
my child
Like, I
and my
can't do
wife,
that.
no big deal, can do that, no big deal. And
Well, they'd be fine. You would be cut to
my
ribbons.
head would get cut off.
Yeah.
I can too, but it's like they're not like good ones.
Yeah.
I mean, Charlie didn't
Just
do
like a little,
much.
like, burp.
He came down.
He
Yeah,
got
it would be like that kind of burp.
Yeah.
I could
Yeah.
do that. I wouldn't
you
die in a fan accident.
Nice.
Even during that scene, I was like, pat your belly, Charlie.
Yeah.
I think the
You got Chocolate River. You got
Yeah.
TV candy.
yeah.
You got Goose.
You got full meal gum.
Full meal gum. Mm-hmm. Gobstopper,
Yeah, that
sort
golden
of.
goose egg was pretty intriguing.
I mean, I would love to be able to just pull a candy bar out of my TV.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
It's also very dangerous.
What do you mean?
I just feel like if I was like, that sounds good, and I could just automatically have it and not have to like go somewhere to get it.
I see. I thought you were talking about like trying and like punching your fist through the TV.
Yeah, Instacart is like the closest thing
I
we
see.
have.
No, you're right. That is pretty bad. Like, oh, let me just quick check the chocolate channel, see what's going on.
Just see what's.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I think flying bubble water would get me too. I'm with Molly on this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what would be very cool is taking the 3-course meal and the gum and making a TV dinner that you could actually just tune into that channel and take out your TV dinner as a
flavored
3-course meal.
TV dinner gum.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
Synergy, baby.
Yeah. See, this is why the factory closed down, because they didn't have any innovators.
Yep.
I feel like the Food Network needs this.
Yeah.
You know, where you can like take out, like try at the end
Yeah,
the
yeah.
food
Like,
that they just made.
their hands.
That's the one thing that TV is missing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that
Grocery
actually
store
eating it.
samples.
Or like, is it cake?
Yeah.
My kid's really into is it cake now. If you could like reach in and get the purse that's a cake, eat some cake.
Yeah.
Or find out if it's a cake yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fondant.
Yeah.
Ew.
Well, Molly just went on a journey of her own there.
I really did.
Well, that's it. Thank you, fans. You have been engaged.
Thank you.
And congratulations. All right.
On what? Did they win?
So,
Did they win the
They're
podcast?
engaged
And
to
we'll
us now.
brainwash them into running the podcast exactly how we want?
yeah. There are children.
Cool.
Our rating scale, as we all know and remember, are hot, kappa, rodo, chowder.
Great. Of course. Yes.
Chowder.
Chowder.
I thought you wanted him to vary his
Yeah.
accent throughout.
Well, no, vary it to match the foods. So cuppa is British.
What's hot?
Cuppa.
And hot can be British too. So hot,
I was trying to go like
Kappa,
Paris Hilton
kappa.
hot.
rowda,
This feels very limited.
What's
Molly.
rolled?
chowder.
Chowder.
Raw-
Rada.
Rowda
Danish.
is
That's
it's
Danish.
as if
Row. Chowder.
Rowda.
who does this suddenly as if Robert Redford was saying.
He's Rowda. We'll get him when he comes back
Oh, yeah.
in.
It's Australian.
Okay, so that's Australian.
Round out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's right.
Wow. Nope.
Ha,
That was the worst Australian.
How?
Well, anyway,
I'm going to do whatever I want.
All
It's a
right.
clear rating,
clear rating
scale,
scale,
no
yeah.
matter
Yes,
how you
absolutely
pronounce
it
it.
is. Absolutely it is.
It's all
It's a hot couple
soup-based
round out
skills
chowder.
Dan, you gave it 4 cuppas. You thought
Yeah.
Wilder would charm.
I did think that, and he did. I was delighted by this film. It definitely felt like a movie for children in the sense that it did. I mean, this might be because of the fact that they decided to have like a 45-minute montage of people trying to get the golden tickets. But like, it did really feel like that. I don't know, the last like... it felt like someone was like on set just giving them the wrap it up signal where it's just like, okay, now, but like yell at Charlie so he feels bad, but then just have him immediately win. Like, it just felt like they really just had to like race to the finish, and it felt the pacing was a little strange sometimes, which is fine because it's a child's movie and it's about wonder and magic, and who cares? That said, it's still, I don't know, jarred me a little bit in the watching. So I'm going to stick with 4 hot Kippy Rodo Chowder 4.
Great.
Oh my gosh.
Did I nail that, Molly? Did I nail the accents? Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, Beth, you gave it 5. My note says maybe guesses. Maybe
Yep. Maybe guesses.
Maybe guesses.
says. As I was writing this, I was like, oh, that's messy, but I'll remember. Nope.
Wow.
Well, I think this movie is so fun, and I love the colors and the set design and costuming, and I think it's so weird. There's so many just like bizarre moments that bring me joy, and so I think I'm going to stick with 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
5 what?
I really like it.
And these are 5 what?
These are 5 hot cuppa raw now. Chowder.
Great.
All right, I am 3rd. All right, I gave it 5, and my note says charm
Gassy.
buoy. Oh, there was something about buoy. Well, who knows?
Bluey?
Buoy, buoyed by Wilder. Charm
Your
buoy.
And
child.
chocolate.
I was charmed. It was buoyed by the charm.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. I'm going to stick with 5. I agree. It's so fun. It looks great. It's weird and like has some darkness. Gene Wilder is. I'm so
Wow.
charmed and impressed by his performance in
good.
this. The children are all pretty good, which is like great for children.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I'm sticking with 5. Hout. Kappa. Rodo. Chada. Molly, you gave this a 2, thinking it would be stressful. That I can read.
Yeah. Great. I was very pleasantly surprised in many ways. I will say that first 44 minutes really charmed me and delighted me. I enjoyed those little weird vignettes and getting to know Charlie and his family. It was super fun. And the Willy Wonka parts, which I'm more familiar with, just looked so much better.
Than when?
Gene Wilder was really charming. It was really fun, and it was less about like, well, let's just get down to the last kid, and we're just gonna do brutal, terrible things to all the other children. It felt way less like that, although there was still some of that, and those were the times that I was really reaching for my phone. So, for that reason, I cannot give it 5, but I will give it 4. Hot cuppa row dow chowdas.
Great.
All right.
Wow.
It's harder to say than you think it would be.
Yeah. Like, I love how we all had to prepare ourselves.
Yeah.
Crispin,
Especially when you're
Glover's
saying
Brothers,
in
Lovers,
3
Hot
different
Cuppa,
accents.
Rodo,
Yeah. Hot cup of row dow chowder. Hot cup of round chowder. Hot cup of round chowder.
We also decided it's round instead of roll doll.
Oh, Molly, talking about the charming first half of the movie reminded me of someone we didn't talk about. And this was the newsman who had an existential crisis on air when they thought that all the tickets had been found.
Yes.
And he was like, oh, surely there are other things in life to bring us joy and wonder, whatever. I can't bring myself to think of any at this moment, but I'm sure they're out there. Oh.
Yeah.
And and I forgot to say the things that Willy Wonka says in response to people's lack of imagination was really beautiful and a little bit desperate and ferocious at the same time.
Yeah. Every time he spoke to
a parent,
Salt especially, it sounded like a threat.
Yeah. And it would be something like the limits of your, basically the message, no matter how beautifully put, was the limits of your imagination are disgusting and embarrassing. Stop talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, and I think that juxtaposition was throughout where you wanted to be swept away by the wonder, but there was just a real salt and some dirt in there rubbed in.
Yeah, imagine pitching this without any any context of oh, it's a book or whatever. It's okay, so there's this
pitching it to a food company.
Yeah.
Okay, it's magic. There are lots of kids.
So there's this factory owner who hates adults and only wants to work with children. So he tricks 5 of them to come into his factory. Yeah.
He has specific criteria, but he makes the recruitment completely random.
Yes.
Yeah.
That part is confusing to me because, of course, you would attract all the people with the greatest resources.
Yep.
But maybe that's the point. Maybe it's I want Charlie to run this factory. He lives in the town that I know him because
he knows Charlie.
He must know of him. It's a small town, right?
I get, yeah.
And his dad died in his factory, so.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's true. Oh, do you think all of this is a long game for making up for the fact that his dad died in the
his dad was probably the head of the union
construction of the chocolate waterfall or something? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you saying that his dad was trying to organize the union?
Yeah, and Willy Wonka had him killed, and now this is the ultimate revenge where he's going to turn his son into
a capitalist.
A big businessman. Oh my God, you're right. He is a demon. Wow,
but
this
it's
movie
just
took a
because
turn.
he's bored, right? It's not really
5 cups. That's amazing. That changes everything. 5 hot cuppas. I'm sorry, hot
cuppa industry.
Hot cuppa. I can't stop. This might be your best ranking system yet, Molly.
It's good. It's a good one.
It's real good. I think this one's going to really hit the top of the pops once this episode comes out.
My first thought was OSHA violations, and I'm really glad I pushed myself harder.
I mean, these probably would also be OSHA violations.
I mean, I could go for some chowder right now. Chowder.
Is that even a good option here? Can you get good Minnesota? Chowder in Minnesota?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, no.
Thinking about the...
I don't think so.
I mean, I don't know. I would say no.
Put, just walleye
and the thing about chowder too is it's just a way to use up clams. Those aren't today's clams.
Oh.
Yeah,
they're from the clam river.
Peas porridge clam. It's clam porridge.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, and I regret telling that peas porridge story. Beth, can you cut it out?
Why?
I think so.
I don't know. It makes me feel snobby about poor people in the 1800s.
You elitist. Go flush your toilet with running water.
Let the record show that this podcast supports the choices and lifestyles of all 1800s poor people.
I mean, they weren't doing it because they were hell yeah, old peas. It was we don't have anything better.
You don't know. Some people might be really into old peas.
I mean, now it's it comes back around. All the, poor people food is classy or whatever.
And there's going to be some TikTok about just found this new hack. Yeah. Old peas.
Say your Instapot for
hell yeah, old peas.
Hell yeah, old peas. Let's go. Let's get it trending, people. Totes challenge. Totes challenge. Get everybody on that old peas train.
For 9 days.
Yeah. Yeah, the challenge is to leave peas in a pot for 9 days
And eat it.
and then drink the water and serve the water to your grandparents.
That's it. That's the Totes challenge.
That's it. Totes challenge.
There, hit us up on TikTok.
Also, we take no responsibility for anything that happens to any of your family members. No. Sign this giant contract and then enter the realms of your own nightmares. It's me, Billy Blanca, the pea monger, coming to my pea factory. And by P, I, of course, am spelling it P-E-A. That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
Don't worry.
My pea factory's over there.
I keep the urine.
That's a different contest.
Please, my father owned the pea factory. P-E.
I really should have put them in separate towns. It's very confusing.
Totes Recall is hosted by Molly Chase, Beth Gibbs, Dan Jaquette, and Dan Linden. Produced by Beth Gibbs. New episodes of Totes Recall drop on the 15th of every month. For more information and bonus content, visit us at totesrecall.com. Thank you so much for listening.